I have checks notes 14 hours in Imperator Rome. It wasn't really my game on release, and after that I just never really gave it another chance. But considering the fact that once this channel hits 50,000 subscribers, we're going to be doing a massive mega campaign starting with Imperator, I should probably get a baseline. So subscribe if you haven't already. The mega campaign is going to be pretty dope. And I know that many of you are not subscribed. Aside from all that, Lath just can't be the only guy making videos on Imperator. So let's take a look at what Imperator Rome looks like 4 years after release and 2 years after it was sadly discontinued by Paradox. So clearly when the game starts, things are very fractured. There's a few majors like this Mara, the Selucid Empire, the Antigonid, or I'm not going to pronounce any of this correct, but these guys are here. Obviously Ptolemaic Egypt is a big one. But then taking a look over here, Carthage and Rome are the small little startup guys. And I believe that they have mission trees or something along those lines. So things will hopefully pick up and we should see some blobs, at least eventually. Originally, things are going to be pretty messy, I think. But it wouldn't be an Imperator video if I didn't start off by mentioning Boy. We got to root for Boy. They are my personal favorite, and I'm really genuinely hoping that they do well. I'm also obligated to tell you guys that despite my love for history, I don't really know a whole lot about this, the antiquity period. So don't like crucify me for not really understanding a lot of the stuff here. I'm just trying to get a baseline for whenever we get our mega campaign going. Macedonia has lost a bit of land over here to the Antigonids, and Thrace has seemingly crossed over from Thrace, pushed well into Anatolia or like Asia. I think it's just called Asia, right? I don't know. I believe that these guys have made their way over into the Bengal Delta. I think that's fresh. I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of cool how quickly the map changes around. Like you just see little things popping up here and there from time to time. I think that's a nice touch. Like, take a look at these guys over here. The Selucids are conquering the Antigonids just like one province at a time, literally just taking them. Yeah, definitely safe to say the Selucids are steamrolling. The Antigonids are just completely gone for the most part. Thrace, this Galatia or whatever, has popped out and conquered a lot of the land over here. And the Selucids have just kicked them out of this area. I think they have like 2 or 3 provinces right here. So, yeah, rip the Antigonids. And meanwhile, Rome has definitely made some gains over here, pushing south, trying to unite Italy. Now they are fighting against Magna Graecia, so we may see Rome get just the tip here eventually. That would be pretty cool. And as I mentioned it, Macedon, not looking good. I think they're currently losing a war to Epirus or maybe the Antigonids. I don't really know, but either way, they've been occupied for a lot of the game. So Alexander's empire not looking too good. But who is looking pretty good? Carthage, annexing some people over here, looking quite solid. And they've actually even pushed over into Iberia as well as into like Gibraltar, the Straits. So yeah, Carthage is having a very solid run. They've also got some land in Sardinia as well as Sicily. So it looks like the race to Messina is certainly underway. You know, you don't really hear much about India in this time period, but this Maurya, they're doing very well. They've taken a ton of land over here in like Gujarat or whatever this region is called, pushing well down into here. So they're having a very solid run. And now we're talking the name of Rome getting bigger as we speak, as is Macedon uniting a bit of what is this, Peloponnesia? I actually don't really know the name of these regions that well. So both guys looking good. Carthage is kind of just chilling. They haven't really done a whole lot, but they're here. And it looks like these guys are gone. Etrusca, they lost a bunch of land to Rome to over here. And then this Torina or whatever came in and took them out, or they formed them. I'm not really sure. And I know the stuff up here tends to be a little on the boring side. At least I'm under the impression that it is. But how about Pictonia looking incredibly good? Love to see a Pictonia over here all the way from Brittany down into southern France, or Gaul, I guess. It's Gaul, right? Though I really couldn't imagine being from a place called Turdulia, right? Like, unfortunate naming. Couple of bigger tags over here popping up over in the Pontic Steppes. Scythia looking okay, but they're losing a war currently. We have this Eorcia and then this Yankai. So all of these are pretty good. I assume that these are kind of like steppe nomads, if I had to guess. I'm not really actually sure about that either. Meanwhile, these guys continue to migrate up north, pushing up into this area over here in Lahore, or I don't know what that region is called. That's what it is in EU4 at least. And Thrace is actually doing even better, annexing one of these breakaway states from the Antigone Kingdom, though they do border a very beefy Armenia as well as the Selucids. So they might be poking a bear. It's hard to say. Yeah. Armenia not looking too good. They were incredibly powerful, but apparently the Ptolemaic Kingdom is taking some land up here in Georgia, and I honestly don't even want to know what happens to the rest at this point after seeing Egypt over here in, you know, the Caucasia However, it does look like things are going well for Rome. They are about to take whatever they can from these guys, as well as they just annexed all of Venetia, and they're over into Corsica as well as in Sardinia. So I think things are definitely going to be picking up very soon. Also, one random Thracian province down here in Magna Graecia. I like to see that as well. In terms of the other guys, Carthage is making their way over. They're in like southern Portugal, modern day. Basically, they have the entirety of southern Iberia, as well as some land over here in Ceuta or Tangiers or whatever. And then also over here, which I think they've had this for a while. But they're definitely starting to get up towards, like the Nova Carthago kind of area. And we'll see how things go. I'm sure their Rome war will come eventually. It has to, right? Oh, the border guard over here in Scythia looking pretty bad. They got cut into 4 different pieces. That's pretty gross. Rome, Macedon, and now Thrace, the 3 major regional powers over here in this region. So that's a thing, I guess. And meanwhile, our friends over in India just continue to blob, this time sticking a tendril up here over the Himalayas. So there they go. And it's just really funny to think that Rome not only went up to the Alps, but also crossed the Alps before they even got into southern Italy. That's a really weird shift in the timeline, but I'm sure it won't really affect them negatively. They can probably take it pretty easily if I had to guess. But of course, if anybody was going to conquer my good friends over in boy, I'm glad it's going to be the Romans, Imperium Romanum, Roma Eterna, and all that stuff. You got to say it. Unless you're a Rome hater, in which case I got nothing to say to you. Ooh, and we've got a revolt, a very beautiful pink revolt going on in the Seleucid Empire. The Seleucid revolt, as well as Parthia, looks to be splitting them up. Not looking good for the Seleucids, though. I don't really know how these revolts work in the game. Like I said, I have like 15 hours in the game. But not looking good so far. Yeah, it ended. It ended in a way, not a good way, but I don't know if I can necessarily say it's a bad way either. And with that, I think we have to generally consider Parthia one of the majors on the world stage. They have some of the most disgusting national borders I've ever seen in my life, but I don't think you can disqualify them from being like a great power because of that, right? Oh, lads, it's happening. The first Punic War is underway. I don't know what it's over, but Rome is winning the siege over here in Sicily, and then it looks like they just took part of Sardinia in the peace deal. That's it. That's what the war was about, I guess. I don't know. Meanwhile, Carthage is making their way over into northern Sicily, so they might fight again soon. Hard to say. Bit of an anticlimactic war, though, if I'm going to be honest. I was kind of hoping that we'd see some, clash, but, we'll take what we can get. Oh, no, they came back, and they took some land in Sardinia. But, lads, it gets worse. They also took some land in Italy. While Rome spreads into Dalmatia, across the Alps, all the way over to whatever this area is called, they are losing land to Carthage. Definitely not to be overlooked. And Carthage is well on its way up into central Iberia. So I think it's much more fair to say that Carthage and Rome are significantly more even right now than they were in real history, at least before the first Punic War. After the second one, it was pretty much just downhill for Carthage. But this is pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to see how it goes. As I'm excited to see Thrace, who's doing really well. I don't understand how they're doing so well, but they're doing super good. Macedonia is doing okay. They haven't really done a whole lot. And Parthia continues to grow, looking incredibly big. Looks like 2 nations lined up next to each other, which is kind of funny. And I also missed this. Carthage pushing all the way up, bordering Ptolemaic Egypt now. So we might see some conflict over there. At least I hope we do. Yeah, Rome definitely has their sights set in other places, pushing well over into Dacia, while they still haven't taken Magna Graecia. But they did take back Sardinia from Carthage, so maybe things have turned in their favor. And meanwhile, up north, Pictonia continues to dominate, pushing well over into the lowlands. And then this Treveria definitely doing well over here in whatever this is, the Rhine area. So they're doing really good as well. Up in the British Isles, we got Carvetia as well as Atenia. And then over here we have Dumnonia, which I assume is the Cornish. And over in Iberia, this Oritania definitely gonna be giving a fight over to Carthage, especially if they can continue to unite the Isles under one banner. That would be pretty cool, seeing them fighting off some of the natives, so to speak, of the area. But Rome, you gotta get Carthage out of Italy, man. Well, lads, here we have it. Rome, right next to Rome, who ate the entirety of Macedon somehow. And honestly, they're just taking all of it. Though I can't really be surprised. I'm sure they're super powerful in this game. The Roman Empire looking incredibly good, still yet to push Magna Graecia out of southern Italy. Though Carthage continuing to get their power base up, finally beating up on these guys, hopefully going to at least put up a fight. And it appears I may have spoken a bit too soon. Carthage getting absolutely dominated over here in North Africa, even getting their capital city occupied by Rome. So we'll see how things go with that. And there we have it. Carthago dall'Ande Este. We have Carthage under the control of Rome, razed to the ground and salted, so none of the fields can be sowed or whatever that all that folklore stuff is. They also took some land over here. So yeah, Carthage they're done. They're not coming back from this. I very strongly doubt it. Rome has firmly come out on top. Funnily enough, the Antigonid Kingdom and Thrace just keep going back and forth over this area right here. I don't really know why. They keep getting it and losing it, but right now they're going to lose it again, I guess. And I'm pretty sure that the borders over here with the Selucids and Parthia keep getting worse as well. Though I am happy to see Parthia like pop off, because I'm pretty sure Parthia was essentially the successive empire that took over after the Selucids in real life. I might be wrong, but I think that that's how it went. So that's pretty cool. And when it's all said and done, Carthage ends up coming out not too bad. They ended up existing, though a lot of their land over here got conquered by Rome, and a lot of their land over in Iberia got conquered by this Oritania, as well as like a bunch of land up here for some reason. Pictonia actually did super well. They had all this land all the way down into like Catalonia, and then they just crumbled and fell apart. Coritania up here almost united the British Isles. A bunch of provinces were like voided. I don't know if that's an issue with like Invictus or Invicta or whatever that mod is called. I heard that that might be an issue, but yeah, some provinces are just uncolonized. I don't know why. Like all this land over here, uninhabitable. Nobody lives here. Of course, Rome continued their conquest, touching up their borders over here with Greece clearly coming out on top, though I don't know if they're the #1 power in the world. Thrace, probably the underdog pick of the run, did not see them doing well, but they certainly did, and they definitely surprised me. The Ptolemaic kingdom continued to expand, pushing south into Kush, pushing Kush out of Kush for the most part, and looking good. And other guys that started out big, Moria over here, continued to get big, pushing all the way down into central India. They lost some of their land over here in a revolt recently, but they continued to push all the way over here into Baluchistan and Afghanistan, so they definitely get an honorable mention. Of course, not as honorable as the border gore master themselves, Parthia, pushing all the way up into Kazakhstan, the greatest country in the world, as well as all of Iran and well into Mesopotamia, all the way bordering over on the Black Sea. So Parthia, probably the most powerful nation in the world. I'm going to ask you guys for a little bit of grace with my knowledge of Imperator. As I said, I have very little bit of time in this game, but I'm happy to showcase it a little bit more, especially since there seems to be quite a bit of interest since Laith has been covering it so much lately. He can't be the only one doing it. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, make sure that you subscribe, because like I said in the beginning, at 50,000, we are going to be doing a mega campaign all the way from Imperator through Hearts of Iron 4. If you want early access to all the videos on this channel and you want to support me, the Patreon is linked below, as well as the join button. You can become one of the homies. We have a lot of fun over in the exclusive chats in the Discord, which you should also join if you haven't already. Anyways, lads, that's all I've got for you. Thanks for watching to the end. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Special thanks to Chio, Josh Kupczynski, Azure Rhino, Blonde Damon, Ian Powell, Cannon Fodder, Corvette Gaming, Anthony Grove, Isaiah, Saronska, Ricardo, Cobalt, Rex, Total Farce Frit, Nathan Albright, and many more. Thank you.